Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Okay, so, back at the ship. The ship, the little mission that you go on for a quick second there, Frank, is Krax just kind of flies out there. You guys are going to find a small freighter that is bringing goods of you don't know what their supplies are back to Omega. It has two turret guns on it. As you guys are flying over towards it, you can see Tremmy is very, very excited for the flight. Obviously, you have your own cameras and sensors and whatnot that you can access from your guns over there. Could you do me a favor and roll me a perception intelligence check, please, sir?
Well, I can't.
Yeah, your best roll ever.
Yeah, because totally have good intelligence.
It's not bad.
Wicked smart, Rick.
Eight.
No, Rick. Frank.
There you go.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart, Frank. So, with your perception intelligence check of 8, you are looking over and you realize that ship is human. It's of human make. And it has the turrets on it.
Of course it is.
Of course. It has turrets on it. And now, as you guys are approaching this human vessel, you can see that she is very, very excited because as you're starting to do your job, and she's like, she says to you, Krax, your job isn't to blow up the ship. Your job is to disable it. Take out those guns.
Krax is actually unfamiliar with Turian guns, so
So
probably going to do great. He's definitely going to target their engines.
So you go to just target the engines. Well, one of the fun things you notice is wherever it is that you go to target, it is significantly easier than you ever expected it to be. It actually is. It takes up, because what is it? Usually 1 CP to target something.
Yep.
It takes 0 CP to target. Actually, once you lock on to the human vessel, auto target immediately takes over for you. It's almost as though the AI and the auto targeting of your computer understands this human vessel well enough to just take over for you and do the job for you.
What a surprise! Yep, targeting systems is 1 CP.
There you go. And so because of the fact it costs you 0 CP, you're actually able to make 2 attacks off of your current vessel onto that one with both of them aimed shots. Because it costs 0 CP.
Just going to, fire all guns then.
There you go. You can fire as though you're firing off of your regular ship.
So good. There they are.
No, I mean eating lozenges, of course, because I realized yesterday morning, wow, my voice hasn't hurt in days. I think I'm finally cured from that forever long. Last night I was like, my throat hurts.
Fire 1. 15.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fire 2. Oh wait, I'm not doing any modifiers, am I? It doesn't matter.
Hit.
So, was that just the 2 guns, or?
Yep.
By the way, it should be -4 to both of those, because I forgot to do -4 for the targeting.
Oh, gotcha. I got you. For -4.
So it's 11 and...
The first one I believe would have been a miss, then let me just confirm that.
In that case, I'll just use my power and auto hit.
Oh, okay, there you go. Cool, you hit. Awesome. And so, do your damage with those.
All right.
For funsies.
1, 2.
And you take
9
out their
and 7.
engines. So you blast their engines and you completely take them out, making them dead in the water. You know what I mean? And so this is the fun part, because as that happens, as the engines are sitting there dead in the water, she does a very, very slow and close approach to the ship. And then she literally lines up the ship so that the guns of your ship are right over where because in human vessels...
The bridge.
The bridge is always in the front for human vessels. It's a very weird thing, but it always is. And so you line up so literally where your gun was already aimed and targeted towards, it is now lined up to be perfectly at the bridge of the ship. And she's like, as she lines up and 1 + 1 comes to Krax, she turns and has this incredibly devious smile as she looks over at Krax, almost expectantly.
Krax isn't actually going to fire. Unless, have they fired back at us?
They have no engines.
So?
They're
have, pneumatic guns.
This is a shitty... You took out their engines instantly. When they were firing at you guys as you were approaching before, because it was very clear what you were doing, but they are dead in the water now.
Krax isn't going to fire because they have not fired back. That's just no honor in that.
Okay.
So he actually just turns towards Treme, stands up, and is like, they're not worth killing. Which I assume she knows is like a huge insult for Krogan.
She's like, do you want them telling people what happened here?
She gets
And he just
it.
like presses the button. So yeah, he fires directly into the bridge.
Okay, there you go. And they all die, of course. From there, she flies the ship over, once again, very nimbly, flies the ship over to where there's a hole in the bridge. So a few of the crew members that came with you guys can hop out of your ship, the airlock where they were sitting. The airlock opens up. They jump out, and it's a short trek for them to get from there to the bridge of the ship, where they're able to take over because they're in suits. The fact that there's no life support or anything or air or pressure doesn't really bother them. And they take over the ship and start flying it, albeit not as well, flying it towards Omega and back towards where it is that you guys had flown out of. It's flying into. And you guys fly back into that area. And that gets kind of like parked in the middle, whereas she parks yours back where you had originally flown it from. And when it lands, the person meets up with you guys again, has the conversation, things go well, and she looks back to you and says, he said he's willing to take another 0.1 off. And, gives you like a clasp on the shoulder, and then turns and starts to like walk out of this place. And the multi-hour walk back to where you and your companion's ship is.
Now, I'm just going to point something out here.
Of course.
We've been very loose with the ship funds. Everyone has access to them. How much is in there?
Currently, there is 1.548180. And no, you will not be allowed to make the purchase of the ship on your own.
Wait, hold on. Does that
I know.
include taking out the 7?
Because not everybody has access to them. I don't have access to them. I asked Cattle for things.
Well, because we also have a shit ton of scrap in there, right?
Yeah.
Like 200k
Yeah, we do.
worth of
But
scrap.
that's physical scrap that you have, of course,
Yeah.
not like wire
We'd
funds.
sell it if we sell the ship, so
Yeah.
we'll have some.
Krax looks at the guy and kind of strikes. Hey, I'm not in charge of financing. I'll have to get with my guy. He'll get with you.
He's like, I understand. You have a Solarian in charge of things.
Yeah,
Uh,
you kind of get like the hiss from the side of his mouth. It's like, yeah, he's a little stingy.
Quick to think, slow to react. I know Solarians. You talk to him. If you want it, it's yours. I've always got other buyers.
He actually, Krax gives the guy Calder's information. It's like, oh no, just call him now. We're already here.
I will wait for you guys to come to a decision before you waste any more of my time. Which, by the way, was very profitable. Thank you.
He like puts out his hand and like the human gesture thinks for a second.
He
And
will.
then does
He will
from, like, the
actually.
Turian
He will
handshake?
shake your hand the human way. He has no problem with it.
Just Krax just gotta
What a
get those handshake
forward-thinking
points.
Turian pirate.
I know.
Hmm?
Yarg. And yeah, I guess Krax nods approvingly at the ship, and I guess they head back up for the 2-hour trek.
Yep. So, did you guys do anything else, the three of you, aside from, of course, what Winnie was working on this entire time? And I'm going to have you roll in a moment. Did you guys do anything else in the meanwhile? Or no?
I would have been working through that scouting report, figuring out the optimal placement for all the mining drills and whatnot, how many we would exactly need, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Basically preparing for the mission.
Ollie, you going to help him with that?
No, I'm gonna go back to researching the red sand stuff we got, because that's definitely the best place to do it, is Omega.
Okay, cool. So by researching that one, you actually want to talk to people as opposed to just Google, right? Okay, so why don't you actually roll me a contacts charisma check or contacts intelligence check if you would like.
Charisma, please.
Charisma. You, Rick, why don't you roll me an intelligence? Was this planning things out? I suppose survival. Let's see, battle planning. Give me a second. I'm trying to decide what I want to do for you. to you. You know what I mean.
Connect works.
Let me see. What do I want to look at for you? To plan this out, administrator, commands, first army, underarm, snipe, sneak, pistol, perform, perception.
I think most of it would be logically applying the knowledge I have and therefore lore.
See, I don't know. I feel like administrator like feels like it because you're like technically digging through and making a decision, but that's more of paperwork. So,
Yeah.
I guess lore could work. No, I'm gonna go with command because command is like supposed to be planning and stuff like that. So, we can go with intelligence command.
All right. I'm going to use a point from the pool of luck for that because
Absolutely.
we're planning for the critical mission that's going to pay us multi-millions.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. If I use intelligence, that's a flat roll. Oof.
Okay.
That is awful.
So you're planning things out, and with your total of the roll, it's one of those things where you're like, I'm glad he chose. Sorry, she suggested 6 because I still haven't fully decided where I believe the base is. If it's here, yeah, 6 should be awesome. If it's here, 6 is overkill, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Maybe we could just keep some. If it's in any of these 3 locations, 6 might get the job done. It might not be enough. And that's based off of what you can kind of like figure out at the moment, you know, with how well these spikes work. And you kind of come to the conclusion at the end, maybe you need to learn more about the spikes first. In which case, do you want to like see if you can try to find scout reports are usually about planets and things like that. Would you like to try to get like a scout report about like say mining spikes and everything pertaining to them, or no, you don't need you can just kind of like ask people or research it as opposed to
I would probably do
research.
research on it.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get back to your research, Ollie, why don't you roll for me and see what your or did you? You did. Thank you. Sorry, I was talking to Rick. So with your 11 on your connect check, looking around trying to find out what red sand is, you're actually able to find out somebody that sells red sand.
Sure. We don't really need to super go over it because I, as a person, know what red sand is, and it's easily wikiable. That's just what I'm doing while other people are going on. Red sand, super quick summary, if this guy tells me the right information.
Gives you the right information, confirms that what you have is in fact quality red sand, and is curious where you got it from. You don't give the info. Go ahead.
It is biotic drug. It makes you biotic.
Makes your biotics spike like crazy. It is confirmed to work 100% very powerful on humans and maybe on others. Depends on the red sand, depends on the race.
I have like 3 doses of it on me, I think.
Yep.
So.
Okay, so moving on. Rick, going back to you. Roll me that check, please. The you're researching, so it's at lore intelligence. Okay, so researching, trying to find out what you can about the spikes. You start to find out exactly how big their blast radius is based off of it kind of comes down to if he gives you the exact spikes that you think he's going to give to you, you'll know better. You have to wait until you actually have them on your ship to make more decision planning. So you're kind of put on hold. All right, eventually Tremi, and going to you finally, Erin.
Yep.
Long, patient wait to make your roll. You're trying to make it so that these spikes will not be able to be picked up by the scanners. Roll for me your intelligence lore check. Okay. So with your 10 on your intelligence lore check, you are able to know everything that you need to about the spikes and the kind of like I should say like radiations or signals that they would give off for them being on the ship. Now you need to make for me an electronics intelligence check with a +1 because it's your fix ability. Your racial ability. And with a 9, you believe you're able to hide that signal.
Okay.
Within the ship. Okay. It takes you the better part of 2 days to be able to do this. It does weigh a bit on the systems to do this and maybe leave other things more easily found, but it's kind of like it's a semi-masking, like pay attention to this over here instead kind of
Right.
like what you're doing. So eventually your crew comes back to the ship. Oh, I unplugged my laptop and it's dying. It's at 5%. So eventually Tremi comes into the ship and minutes later Krax comes in. So when Tremi comes into the ship, she immediately heads down to engineering where you're kind of finishing what you're working on there, or you're in the middle of what you're working on there. And she's like, Winnie.
Yeah, Tremi, look what I did. No, kind of like bring her around. I grab her hand and show her what I did.
Wow, this engine room looks amazing. You have gotten this thing in tip-top perfect shape, haven't you?
It's almost perfect.
It is just about there. It's almost like you're going to have nothing to work on soon.
Oh, there's so much more to do. Like almost perfect, not quite.
Well, yeah, almost perfect. But I mean, then you're gonna have, I mean, what are you gonna do? Just sit there and keep turning a wrench when the bolt's already tight? I mean, come on, Winnie.
I mean, it's almost like the last little bit that like just makes it though.
But you know, that last little bit is what gives it charm, isn't it? It's that customization that like you might need it in the moment. If you use it now, you won't have it later.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, how much fun have you had customizing the ship and making it perfect? I mean, watching you work has been such a delight for me.
It has been pretty nice. It's been
On a
it's been
human.
fun.
I mean, and the ship is a piece of shit. I mean, you're dealing with human
like the
AI. Oh, come on. Got the VI right there? That thing?
It's not bad.
It gets the job done. Sure. Kind of. I mean, how many times have we fallen out of travel?
Yeah, but I'm working on that.
But, you know, that's not just your fault. That's also
You
mine.
can't fix the pilot.
The two of us trying to balance the amount of power fluctuating through the engines while traveling at such high speeds for extended periods of time. Winnie, this is, I mean, the ship is, you've brought it, it's near perfect in here. And it's still kind of a piece of shit, isn't it?
But I like it.
Oh, I'm sure you do. We all have our guilty pleasures. I'm just saying that there might be better options.
What are you saying?
I'm saying a
I thought we already discussed this.
Taurian war vessel that I've flown several times beforehand, understand
I
it
haven't
perfectly
added
well,
any
and you
features
can
to Taurian war
even
vessel.
adjust it
The
to
ship
make it
has
even
been
better.
done. We did
Listen,
the inside,
the
proportions.
VI, I know
did
the
all
ins and outs of
that.
it. I know the person that created the VI. I can give you some of the schematics.
No, out of the engine room. No, go.
But
Go.
what do you-
Push her out. Close it behind.
Hey, cattle! No,
I just hear a lot of shouting from engineering. I'm looking on the cameras. I've been recording everything. I know she fucked up. I know she admitted it.
That's the funny thing.
I have dirt.
Cattle just it has all the cameras to everyone's room and everything that's happening in the ship at all times.
No, not the bedrooms.
Just in case.
there's
Not
one
the best.
bedroom. You all share it.
It's just one bedroom. And it's where how people enter the ship. So you want that one to have a camera.
So
Damn
she
it.
so you go she
You're
goes
right.
walking up to Cattle and she's like, "Hey, Cattle, can I have a word with you?"
Sure.
Listen, Cattle, there's something I've been meaning to make a complaint about, but I didn't know if it was the right time.
I look at her, dead in the eyes. Is it the ship again?
It's privacy, honestly. I mean, I'm sorry, but when it's my turn to sleep, it means that you're awake, which means I'm climbing into your surprisingly cool bed, considering that you just got out of it. And then you have to climb into my warm bed, which I'm pretty sure you don't mind so much, because it's rare that we're actually flying side by side one another. We all share one room. The Krogan smells. I know that he actually technically has his own room, but yet his odor still lingers in the room that the rest of us share. I mean,
Cattle just gives a knowing look like, yes.
You just hear
yes,
like a
that's been my problem from day one.
"Sorry," from like the other room.
I'm just saying that I think I would like to have a little bit more privacy, especially if we end up taking more people onto the ship and Entree continues doing what she does.
I look her dead in the eyes. You found a good ship, haven't you?
I have my opinions. I'm sure you'll have yours. And
Give me the
Krax is
details.
walking in. So Krax finally makes his way in because he was, behind her. The details? Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to leave that to Cracks can tell you about the details of the ship. Have you seen Entree?
She's probably meditating somewhere.
She looks immediately next to where she is inside the bedroom to see if she's meditating in her bed. Is she? Ollie?
I think Ollie's muted.
Oh, you meant if I was in the no, because I wouldn't have been back yet, probably, right? Is my
Oh
assumption.
yeah, you were doing your own.
So I thought she was just like looking at an empty bed.
Yeah,
like,
she looks at the empty
ecstatic.
bed like. I guess she's not.
Hmm.
And then she'll leave the room having already called Cracks into the conversation with you. Go back into the cockpit.
Cracks is a little uncomfortable now. Like he's keeping his arms like closer inwards, just like not like up, just like close, like clutching against himself. So no sweat glands or anything are getting out. So he's a little self-conscious right now. Yeah, he.
Yeah, you've
looks
got my
towards-
full attention.
That's creepy. Scott's very distracting.
Scott's having fun.
Yeah,
Leave him be.
I know it's distracting.
Imagine Crow can always drink with straws.
Oh, probably. Tiny arm. Yeah, he pulls up his Omni tool and like flips to the essentially the dashboard camera that he wears all the time, and just starts like, well, here's the ship. Here's the tour that we got. It's much bigger than ours. 1.2 million. Might be stolen.
When you say might be stolen,
He looks
how
towards-
stolen is it on a scale from 1 to very?
He looks towards Tremy.
She's gone.
Oh goddamn.
She bailed on you.
He doesn't say anything, but he's like trying to remember the watermark of where she was saying like her excuse for it. It's like, right here. Yes. She flew it. She apparently had someone steal it from her old commander, who it was a gift to. So stolen.
So the whole thing.
That's that'll be interesting to deal with if we decide to go through with it, because somebody's going to be looking for that.
He kind of just like looks around the ship and just says, "Well, we know people are looking for this one. We've not been very stealthy."
Yeah. I guess you're right in that regard. Do
And
take a walk with me, and I head to the bridge. I'm going to
Yeah,
corner
he-
Tremilia.
he's walking, but he's also like talking at the same time. It's his is
Yeah. The talking
like
walk.
he's pulling up old knowledge. Is like, this is a stolen purchase. Now, for purchasing this, we didn't have any knowledge that it was stolen. We'll probably get off with a fine if we get caught. But with the emotions again, the Alliance will eventually want to.
Oh yeah, no, the Alliance is definitely looking for us. That's no secret. Alright, Tremilia. I imagine we're at the bridge now.
Hmm? Yeah.
Cracks, as you flew that ship that he mentioned, and you mentioned indirectly.
Many times.
I'd like your take on it. You're the pilot. You're the most familiar with Turian vessels. Obviously, I'm aware that it's stolen and that someone is going to be looking for it. Cracks did raise an excellent point. The Alliance is going to be looking for this bucket of bolts. So, frankly, it's going to come down to whether you think this ship that we're looking at here, of possibly obtaining, we might be able to spin it off that we didn't know that it was stolen. Basically, do you think it will benefit us for the upcoming mission?
That ship is in disrepair. It's rather beat up. Has seen better days. and still it will, if it took another beating or three, it would be in better condition than this thing will be on its best day. I can tell you that even in its current state, without getting Winnie's six fingers into the engine, we'll be able, it would easily be able to take down other light vessel without much effort whatsoever. I can tell you that for a fact it would be able to do that in its current state. I'm very confident in that. My ability to fly it will be far better than this. Its engines can handle extended flight better than these engines could. It's a Taurian make. I mean, do I really need to sell it any harder than that? As for whether or not we can spin it, I'll be honest with you, Cattle. She says, like, she literally just made this decision to be. I know who that ship was stolen from.
Seeing how you piloted it, I imagine you would have some history with the previous owner.
I flew the ship under his command. The ship was not very long ago gifted to him, and some people took it from him for their own reasons. Had nothing to do with me whatsoever. I just caught wind of it afterwards. But he's the commander he's a commander that is a little yellow. He's soft. He is a human apologist. He would only fight if he needed to and wouldn't deliver the appropriate punishments when and where they needed to be delivered. He was weak. And again, I'm being honest with you because of the fact that I know the commander and he knows myself. If we were to be caught on that ship, which would be very unlikely, and I were to be the known pilot, it might be assumed that I was a part of the theft of the ship, that we were the only owners since. Again, I'm being honest and saying that it's not true. But, you know, history writes itself.
Yes, there would be implications. Do you think we could get it ready before we head to Pluto?
Yes. Winnie, I'm sure, would complain for about a day and a half and then be so exhausted and knee-deep in projects, and you wouldn't hear a peep from her just because of sheer excitement.
That's a pretty glowing endorsement. All right.
She likes to work, and this one will be easier in some ways because of just sheer better craftsmanship, but more difficult in others because of far more advanced computing. I wouldn't be surprised if she's going to need you to assist with the software in the ship. It's pretty advanced stuff compared to, the thing's 4 times as old as the ship that we're standing in right now. Better in every way.
It does seem to me like a vessel with speed would benefit us when we're going in to place mining drills on a planet to blow it up.
It was originally designed to not jump through mass relays. It was later on retrofitted to do so. And it was given a large engine. Cattle, the engine is 50% larger than that of this ship with a far more sleek design. Better alloys. Better power output. Better balance.
All right. I will trust your judgment in this. Thank you.
She is trying to hide the fact that she's really excited. Put it on the stoic Taurian face. She's failing miserably.